Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League, Season 4, Round 19. Only 2 races left to go in the championship, and we're here at Sonoma for the final road course of the season. After this, we go to Auto Club for the third leg of the Triple Crown and the season finale, but a lot can still be determined with points on the table today, as let's go through your starting lineup. At the back of the field, once again, it's going to be the number 95 of Ethan Martz. It's already mathematically eliminated from being in the leader circle, so unfortunately no $1 million bonus for that team. And then up in 25th is the 99 of Brendan Hubbard, not a very good qualifying effort from that team. In 24th is the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan, just trying to squeeze into the leader circle, but it's going to be a challenge. Right in front of him in 23rd is the 87 of Alessio Deletta, who's also just trying to squeeze in last moment. Then we have the 94 of Dawa Tenzin starting 22nd, his best qualifying effort. And then in front of him in 21st is the 77 of Stingray Rob, who's not far out of the leader's circle, but needs a little bit of help from where he's starting today. In 20th, had an interesting race at Portland, but somehow got a top 10. It's the 07 of Catherine Legg. In 19th, trying to continue his top 10 streak, is the number 12 of Miles Rowe. Going to be starting deep in the field today, but that didn't stop him at Portland. 18th, impeded in qualifying, it's the 03 of Dorian Pinn. And right in front of her is Callum Ilott in 17th, who was also impeded. Row 8, it's the Lore brothers, Robbie Lore and Glubler Lore. Robbie has the best finishing average out of anyone, but just hasn't had many of those big podium results. And that's why instead of being at the top, he's only in 5th, but it's been a good season from that 30 team. In 14th is the 29 of Benjamin Peterson. In 13th is the 75 of Jacob Abel. And then 12th is Lindsey Brewer, who's inside the top 10 in the championship, looks to keep it that way. And then right in front of her is Yuki Tsunoda in the 27, coming off a 25th and 26th in the last 2 races. Once a good result here today. 10th, it's the number 33 of Marcus Armstrong, looking likely to return to the team for next season, as right in front of him, 3 straight podiums for the 25 of David Malukas, leads Rookie of the Year standings, and not going to be starting too bad here today. In 8th, we have your Portland winner, it's the number 90 of Guy Gagne, returning for the team for next season, so pretty secure. Hoping to have a good run today. Not as secure is the 24 of Chet Jordan, who starts from 7th, but right in front of him in 6th is the 42 of Gail Barnhart, who it doesn't seem like he will be racing here at Auto Club, so this could very well be his final race of the season, unless someone picks him up for the final race. In 5th is your championship leader, it's the 64 of Ryan Preece. But right now, how they start, he's not the points leader, but coming into this race, he has a 14-point lead. In 4th, best qualifying effort for Team Canada Dry and Lewis Hamilton, going to be rolling off from 4th on the grid. As in 3rd, it's the 11 of Louis Foster, looking like a long shot in the championship, but not quite out of it yet. In 2nd is the number 9 of Connor Zilic, who's trying to get back into the Rookie of the Year lead to get that $1 million bonus. And then in first, second in points coming into this race, but as they run will be the points leader. It's the 43 of Shane Van Gisbergen with pole number 6 on the season. Starting lineup, going to be scrolling across the top of your screen now. Theoretically, the race could be determined today if Ryan Preece finishes well enough. Van Gisbergen and Foster don't finish anywhere good. This could be it for the championship. but with how close the margin is, and with where Van Gisbergen starts compared to Ryan Preece, it could very well be over at Auto Club instead of here at Sonoma. Reminder, not going green this time. But this track is a little bit of an interesting one. Pull out your race info. Actually, let's check your weather first. Race takes place late September, September 27th at 2 p.m. 3 mile per hour wind speeds, 84 on the track temp, or just air temp, track temp 108, so it's a little bit of a hot day. So, tire's going to be worn down quicker than usual. So not going green this time. So let's take a look at your track. It's a lot of elevation change. It goes from way up on the hill to pretty flat. And as you can see from the track map, it is not the greatest place for passing. So strategy, pit stop's gonna be key. Starts and restarts gonna be pretty key going into that hairpin that they just went through. The chicane could be a secondary passing opportunity, but turn 1 and 2, a steep uphill, it's gonna be quite difficult to get a pass done there. But you're gonna have to be bold if you want to move forward, and a wrong strategy could do you in today. Let's take a look at the tire compound choices. First, we'll look at Van Gisbergen. He's going to be on the mediums. Zilich chooses the mediums. Foster on the softs. Hamilton on the mediums. Priest going to be the first one to go on the hards. Barnhart on the hards. Jordan on the softs. Gagne on the softs. Malukas on the softs. Armstrong on the mediums, so a whole range on Silly Men Racing. Yuki Tsunoda on the hards, and Lindsey Brewer on the softs. That is your top 12. So with where they're going to be starting, Shane Van Gisbergen will have a 7-point advantage over Ryan Preece, which that is nothing at all, essentially. So he's going to be from first. Preece going to be all the way down in fifth. And would lose the championship points lead. Was looking pretty good until a second to last place finish at Portland. So we will now line up double file and get ready to get this race started. And just the undulation of the circuit, you can see, especially like up around here, we're going to the highest point of the racetrack. Up here in turn 4. Then down into turn 5. This is the part of the circuit that the Indy cars use, not what the NASCARs use. where they go up the hill and around the carousel. They will single file right now just to try to get through the hairpin because it's quite tight. I would not be surprised if one car ends up backwards on the first lap going down into this turn. It's the best passing opportunity on the track, but it is quite tight. You're gonna have to be bold if you want to get anything done. So we will line up double file once again. Instead of going all the way through the S's, we will take the shortcut through the chicane, give a little bit better of a passing opportunity. Passing gonna be at a minimum today. So tire strategy, fuel strategy, gonna be key. And then surviving through attrition is gonna be the best way to move you forward. But one spin could be the end of your day. And for one of these championship leaders, it could just be the end of your season. So let's get ready to go. Through the hairpin. And let's get ready to go. Shane Van Gisbergen accelerates now for the Grand Prix of Sonoma. Big start for the number 43, and they will file in behind him uphill into turn 1. Not many positions change up at the front. The top 6 still the same as Van Gisbergen leads him up the hill. Turn 4, the highest elevation point of the circuit, is the most treacherous in qualifying. As Foster will try to chase Zilich, look at Preece up the inside. Hops the curb a little. No contact, but has to stay in 5th. Foster all over the back of Zilich, but can't make a move. But Van Gisbergen, 1.3 seconds clear already. This could be a big day for him championship-wise if he can get it done. Brendan Hubbard, your biggest mover, up 25th to 21st. So 4 spots gained on the start. Exactly what he needed. Foster follows Zilich. As let's go to the blimp cam to see from high above. Hamilton in 4th, got his best qualifying effort, has finished 13th the last 3 races. They're very stretched out up here at the front. Chet Jordan all over the back of his teammate, but here comes Guy Gagné, gonna take advantage. Can't quite get there on acceleration. Everyone made it through the hairpin on the first lap. It's right now Foster all over the back of Zilich. All of the top 12 stayed the same at the start. The further back in the field you go, the more mixed up it became. Stingray Robb lost out a good amount. He fell down to 23rd. Alessio Deletta now down to 25th, sandwiched between the SSR cars. Shane Van Gisbergen has already pulled out to a 2.7 second lead as Foster continues to chase Connor Zilich. Gale Barnhart has a little bit of a stack up behind him as teammate Chet Jordan gonna try and go for position. This could be Gale Barnhart's last race, so he has to make it count. Chet Jordan nearly in contact with Gale Barnhart. You can see all the cars file through the S's. Once the tire wear kicks in, is probably going to be the best point to start trading positions. Foster on the softs may already be starting to struggle as Lewis Hamilton has closed in on him. Ryan Preece kind of on his own private island here in 5th. He will have the advantage going into the final race as it's an oval. Hold on to it. He was drifting up the hill, and that could have been game, set, match if he had lost control of his car there. But the top 4 have broken away. Shane Van Gisbergen on his own separate island. Connor Zilic won't want to settle for second once again. He's going to try to close in if he can, but 3.5 seconds for Shane Van Gisbergen. As we do have a car off, I think Dawa Tenzin may have went a little wide in the hairpin, did lose a spot to Stingray Rob, but it was just a little bit. Dawa Tenzin crashed late at Portland, as Gale Barnhart going to be the first one to come in. He was on the hards, as Yuki Tsunoda going to follow. Benjamin Peterson follows as well. This is very interesting, as Shane Van Gisbergen has gone off the track at the top of the hill. Oh no. And he's going to have to wait for everyone to go by. 4 cars already pitting, but Van Gisbergen going to lose a lot of spots, and this could do him in the championship. Going to get up to speed, but the damage is already done. Devastation for the 43. That's going to leave Connor Zilic in the lead. Gale Barnhart, Yuki Tsunoda, Benjamin Peterson, and Dawa Tenzin already pit. I don't think you're going to be able to get to the end on that. But Shane Van Gisbergen has just lost the lead and falls all the way down to 19th. As David Malukas pits now. He was on the softs, so he believes those tires have already gone, so this could be a 2-stop race potentially. Gonna have to see what kind of time the 42 can gain, what time the 25 can gain. As we have another car off track, it's the other championship contender, Ryan Preece, and he's all the way around backwards. At the top of the hill, the 64 has gone around. As he will accelerate now, he's still ahead of Van Gisbergen, but both 1 and 2 in the championship have gone off. As now Van Gisbergen goes by as Ryan Preece trying to get back up to speed. As he is very slow. He may have made contact with a wall or something. As Hamilton side by side with Foster. Hamilton trying to go up the inside, can't quite get there. As once again, it's the 54 and he has a broken wing right as Chet Jordan goes into pit lane. This could trigger yellow, yes it will. So Mahavir Raghunathan brings out the first yellow of the day. So contact in the hairpin. So he's back here. Does he just outbrakes himself and sent, oh wow, that is quite strange. Just accelerated straight into the barrier. We're gonna have to see what he saw, but that is day done for the 54. So through the carousel. Oh, just way too late to slow down. As let's also go back and see what happened to the 64 of Ryan Preece. Oh, just looped it. Oh, and he went into the barrier. That's why he was slow. So, oh, what has happened here? David Malukas, he may have also went off. Yeah, he just loses it. Round he goes. And did that stack up the cars behind him? So David Malukas throws it into the barrier under yellow. That's gonna end his. That's gonna bring an end to his podium streak. As we also have an incident with the number 30. He is also backwards in that same turn. And he is going to have to tow. So that may be day done for the 30. A lot of problems for your top 5 in the championship. Louis Foster, the only one unscathed. But chaos breaks out under yellow. The Ryan Priest gonna be in quite the hole here. Van Gisbergen all the way down in 15th, and all of a sudden, the gates have been opened for the number 11 of Louis Foster. If he can just keep it clean to the end here. So Robbie, Malukas, Priest, Ragunathan, and Van Gisbergen all run into issues. Priest sitting in pit lane. Van Gisbergen kept it out of the barrier. Priest not so lucky. As oh, a little bit of a stack up there as Foster's going to come to pit lane. Gagne, Brewer, they're all coming in. Van Gisbergen going to come in. Of the cars that pit earlier now going to pit now. So Foster, first car that is pit. Actually, it's going to be Dawa Tenzin, I believe. Maybe Benjamin Peterson. It may be Peterson. Foster's going to lead him out. So Zilich doesn't pit, he decides to stay out. Lewis Hamilton in second, Armstrong in third, Abel fourth, Globler fifth, Pin sixth, Ilott seventh, Rowe eighth, Leg ninth, and Hubbard 10th. As Shane Van Gisbergen is in pit lane for a very long time, 33 seconds. It's a rough day for your championship leaders. Well, Lucas has made it back to the pits. Gonna have to see if that's day done for him. We're gonna have a double file restart. I believe this time we'll get the one to go. As Malukas will go back out. So day not done for the 25 team. He is going to be one lap down, so he's going to need another yellow to get back on the lead lap. So 9 laps in. A little bit of chaos. As Robbie Lore will also go back out. He will be one lap down as well. No, he's on the lead lap actually. The 1 to green strategy now in high gear. Ryan Priest still in the pits, trying to get some repairs, but that could be devastating for the 64 team if they have another poor race result. Louis Foster all the way back in 17th. As you can see, no one in the top 10 has pit. They're all gonna need to at some point. So let's get ready to restart. First yellow flag of the day for a whole bunch of chaos under yellow. As Connor Zilich will bring us back to green, and he gets a big jump once again as Marcus Armstrong gonna be in second now, so he gets a good start in that 33. Some good points on the table. Lewis Hamilton drops back to third, Abel in fourth, Glubler in fifth. Dorian Pinn got a good restart, got up to sixth. Zilich really gonna try and build this gap. It's been 95 of Ethan Martz, very slow. So having some issues in that 95 car. We're gonna have to see if he can make it back to the pits safely. But the 33 of Armstrong as Callum Ilott is backwards and beached on a curb. Uh-oh. This could be an immediate yellow flag. If he can't get back going, he may be waiting for the number 95 to go by. As no, I think that 18 is beached. Yep. So that is going to be another yellow flag immediately after. That may throw a wrench in the strategy of this. That looks like there was contact beforehand. Oh, the 07 of Catherine Legg dive bomb up the inside. Callum Ilott didn't see her. Oh, she hops the curb. That's going to punt him in a way that strands him. That's just unfortunate. It's right on board. Yeah, and then just gets beached with how high the curbs are. So unfortunate. Connor Zilich, now your race leader. As we're under the second yellow of the day, since we do have a lapped car, we're not going to be able to shorten this yellow. But unfortunate circumstances for the 18 of Callum Ilott. The second half of the season has turned into a disaster. and the troubles continue here at Sonoma. Ethan Martz and Callum Ilott are back in the pits, as Callum Ilott, no, that is too much damage, and that will be day done for him. Grand-Prix still in pit lane. Gonna try and see if they can get him back out, as he is going back out. But he is going to be many, many laps down. Actually, not too many because of the yellow that just came out. 6 laps down. That's still not very good. So could that be a championship ender for the 64? We're going to have to see. But Shane Van Gisbergen all the way back in 21st. And it's going to be tough for him to move forward. Foster only in 15th. 4th place in the championship, David Malukas, 1 lap down. He should get his lap back this time. Should get the lucky dog. The 2 chaos races in back-to-back outings. As Dorian Pin will enter pit lane. So far the only one to take the pits under this yellow. No, there's a lot more. A lot of the cars that have already pit going in again. Not quite sure if I'd agree with that, but at least it's pretty safe that they'll be able to make it to the end. 22 laps is going to be a little bit of a stretch, but can still be done. Louis Foster, the last car that hasn't pit under this yellow. But when you look at the top 10, Benjamin Peterson and Chet Jordan, your first 2 cars to have pit so far. So that could very well be the battle for the win back there. Gonna have to monitor their situations, as David Malukas gonna try and lap some cars. Get back on the lead lap. So there goes Malukas. Gonna be back on the lead lap now. As he's actually gonna pit, so he may not get his lap back. Oops. Sucks to be him, I guess. Did he get by all the cars quick enough? So we'll be going back green this time. Let's see if it lasts longer than 6 turns or whatever it was. So Malukas unfortunately will still be trapped a lap down. So Zilich, Armstrong, Hamilton, Abel, Globler, Rowe, Legg, Hubbard, Peterson, and Jordan, your top 10. Peterson and Jordan, your first two cars to have already made a pit stop. We're going to have to see if those two can make it to the end. Louis Foster back there in 12th, a little bit better on fuel than they are. Dorian Pin, first car that pit under the last yellow. So it's going to be 20 laps to the end here. We're going to have to see who can get it done. Second to last race of the season, so a lot of points on the table, especially with the 64 all the way down in 25th. A lot can be won today. As green flag is back out, Connor Zilich gonna lead us back up the hill. Doesn't get as good of a start this time. Marcus Armstrong not far back. Good for race win number 2. Chet Jordan up 2 spots at the start. Gets by Peterson, gets by Hubbard. So right now, Chet Jordan now your leader on those that have pitted. That could be big for that 24 team. As Ryan Priest has gone off again. As he's going to get back going this time, but rough day for that 64, just keeps getting worse. Armstrong has not left the 33 as Chet Jordan gets another spot. He's gone from 10th to 6th on this restart. Just got by Miles Rowe and Catherine Legg. So that 24 is absolutely flying. Armstrong not leaving the number 9 just yet. But 24 of Chet Jordan looking good as Globler gonna bail. Same with Rowe and Legg as, oh, there's a big stack up trying to come into pit lane. Van Gisbergen trying to get by Stingray Rob back there. He's gonna get the position. So Van Gisbergen up to 16th, Foster now back into the top 10. Let's pull up your pit strategy length. So Peterson had to pit again despite pitting earlier, so we're gonna have to see what the situation is on that 24 car. Lewis Hamilton on the back of Marcus Armstrong. Connor Zilich has now pulled 2 seconds up the road. It's tough but doable to see the 24 get to the end. And it's going to be about a 29 lap stint, so we don't know when these guys are going to have to pit. Zilich, Armstrong, Hamilton, and Abel. Top 4 all still haven't pit. Connor Zilich looking good so far, but all it takes is one spin, and you're out of it. Up that hill is the difficult spot. Brendan Hubbard really stacking up everyone behind him in 6th. Started all the way back in 25th, so has made up 19 spots on the day. But right now kind of being a little bit of a menace. At the 25, David Malukas is back off again. Gonna have to see if he can get back going. As no, That is going to be a third yellow on the day for the 25 David Malukas. Louis Foster under attack from the 87 of Alessio Deletta. David Malukas brings out the third yellow of the day. So, yeah, just loses it. This one goes into the barrier. And that may be enough to end his day. He was already trapped a lap down. Let's go on board and see what he saw. Oh, yeah, that ripped his wheel off. Yeah, that is most certainly enough to end his day right there. As the 47 of Lindsey Brewer is off at the top of the hill. Gonna have to give up all of her spots because of that. We don't know if she made contact with anything. That car looks pretty ill handling. So the 47 might be another one added to the kill list here in Sonoma. Ethan Martz will get the wave around, but we will be shortening this lap, or this yellow by 1 lap. Because there's no cars immediately 1 lap down. .47 causing some issues back here with cars being stacked up behind her. Gonna have to see if anyone pits under this yellow. I'd assume, since this is the halfway point in the race, all the cars that haven't pitted should pit now. Alessio Deletta could be in a good spot right here. Guy Gagné and Louis Foster are gonna need pretty big boost to get to the end, as it looks like the 99 of Brennan Hubbard is pitting this time. I don't know why they stack up like that. Dorian Pinn gonna follow, surprisingly. So many strategies going on now, it's kind of hard to tell who's on what. But none of the top 4 come in. Chet Jordan gonna need a very long stint to get to the end. Gail Barnhart not necessarily out of it. Running in 9th right now. It's 1 lap to green. The 95 may be trying to get his lap back. So we have to see if he can get by everyone. If not, we don't want to accidentally have anyone black flagged. We may not get by everyone in time. Get a big jump before the restart. Uh-oh, this could be a problem. But we will go back green here. Connor Zilic and Marcus Armstrong have a big gap over everyone. Cleared some black flags there, so nobody gets unfairly penalized, but Lewis Hamilton unfortunately gets stuck behind the 95, and he's not going to be able to challenge the 33 and the 9 up here. So Connor Zilic still looking good, 15 to go, but we'll probably need to pit to make it to the end, but we don't know about everyone behind him. Chet Jordan, Guy Gagne, Louis Foster. A lot of differing circumstances. Gail Barnhart trying to pass on Alessio Deletta here. Can't quite get it done. Zilic up by a second on Armstrong already. Hamilton did not get by Martz. Shane Van Gisbergen has already almost made his way back into the top 10. He's up to 11th. But we don't know if he's going to have to pit at the end. Lewis Hamilton still stuck behind the 95. Zilic now up to a second and a half. 1.6 seconds is the lead. Oh, Armstrong gets a little crossed up there and loses some time. Everyone right on top of each other behind this 95 right now. Lindsey Brewer in the pits after some contact under yellow. Here goes Hamilton. He's going to try and go to the outside around the 95. Though it may work in his favor, a little bit of contact with the 95. That is going to move him out of the way. That's going to help Abel and Jordan get by. I believe Guy Gagne was not as lucky. But he will get by there. Alessio Deletta is trying to get by the 11 of Louis Foster, is stuck right behind the 95 of Ethan Martz. But Foster gonna stay ahead. But Hamilton now in some clean air. Jacob Abel all over the place. As Chet Jordan cannot hang on to it, and he goes into the wall. So the 24 of Chet Jordan in some trouble. And I believe the 77 of Stingray Robb has joined him. Stingray a little bit more in a bad spot here, as that will be yellow number 4. Another yellow flag, this time for Stingray Robb, stuck at the top of the hill. Been a treacherous corner up there. Oh, and he hit pretty big. On board with him. Oh, he hit the curb on entry. Yeah, and he goes pretty hard into the barrier. See if Chet Jordan hit anything. Got accelerated pretty quickly, and it looked like he spun pretty late. Hit a little bit on the back wing. That might be a little bit of a repair. So Stingray Robb probably out of the race, and that's seriously gonna hurt his leader circle ambitions. We're under yellow number 4. We're gonna be restarting with under 10 laps to go. Louis Foster sits in 6th. He is 2nd out of the cars that have at least pit once today. Say Deletta could be in a good spot to make it to the end. Gagne and Foster are going to need possibly a little bit of help, but these yellows definitely make it more possible. Gonna see if 95 can get his lap back this time. Chet Jordan gonna be one car coming into the pits, which is kind of expected considering he hit on the back wing. So one lap to green here. 95 now gonna try and get a lap back. Could actually be able to get by this time. So short pit stop for Jordan, nothing too serious, but we'll just put him at the back of the field. 19 cars on the lead lap. Stingray Rob in 20th, but he is many laps down. Lindsey Brewer still in pit lane, as she was in some serious trouble. So your top 10, Connor Zilich, Marcus Armstrong, Lewis Hamilton, Jacob Abel, Guy Gagne, Louis Foster, Alessio Deletta, Gail Barnhart, Yuki Tsunoda, and Shane Van Gisbergen. So as your top 10, Connor Zilich still hasn't pit. We'll be restarting with 10 laps to go. We're going to have to see if he'll be able to make it to the end. It's going to be quite difficult to be able to make it all the way to the end. I think he's going to need to stop once, so he's trying to get probably a big enough lead on one of these restarts. He just hasn't had any time to do it. Of how many successive restarts we've had. Lindsey Brewer back out on track. Ethan March may exit the pits right in front of the field. As here goes Connor Zilich accelerating up through the gears. He's going to beat the 95 out. We're going to have to see how many cars can beat the 95 out. Only the top 3. Everyone else going to get stacked up behind. Jacob Abel, the first car, in a little bit of trouble back there in 4th. Zilic nearly up to a 2nd already. It's been nice and clean today, but he probably needs to pit to make it to the end. Lewis Hamilton trying to chase down Marcus Armstrong for 2nd. Not quite able to get there. Jacob Abel, big dive down the inside into turn 7. And will get the move done. Guy Gagne will follow, which leaves Louis Foster as the first car that gets stuck behind. Doesn't want to lose much time. Gagne, the best car that has pit already. Foster, the 2nd best. As Foster, Van Gisbergen needs to pit. So he didn't think he was going to be able to make it to the end. If the yellow comes out, that could be good for him. Armstrong still has Hamilton all over the back of him. Foster, Deletta, Barnhart have all gotten by. Yuki Tsunoda in 9th, the first car that hasn't gotten through. Armstrong a DNF at Portland, Zilic a DSQ at Portland, so looking for some redemption. Zilic, if he keeps growing his lead, the better his chances are. But with 9 laps to go, we're going to have to see what he can do. Van Gisbergen, routine stop. He's going to go back out, but he's going to be all the way down in 19th. I would say, considering how long the other cars went, I think Gagne and Foster can make it to the end. And everyone that's already pit, I'm just gonna guess they can make it to the end. Only problem could be tires. Hamilton pits now. He's not able to make it. He's gonna come in now. So we're gonna have to see if overcut or undercut's gonna work. Village has a good chance to retake the Rookie of the Year points with David Malukas out of it. In a few more laps than we usually did earlier in the race. Foster having a good run. Gonna have to see where Hamilton comes out in terms of Van Gisbergen. He's gonna be pretty well clear. Abel not far back from Armstrong as Deletta and Barnhart battle. Barnhart nearly gets through. Reminder, this could be his final race, so as we have a stack up, Ethan Martz backwards and driving over the top of the 03 of Dorian Pin, continuing to drive on top of her. What is he doing? Zillich pits now. What just happened there? Dorian Pin might be in some trouble, considering she just had a car drive on top of her. As no, she's going to be able to get going, but something strange happened there as Armstrong not able to hang on to it. That could be a yellow right there, as Jacob Abel now your leader. Armstrong, that could be some big troubles as Guy Gagne has found himself off. And Armstrong gonna bring out the yellow right as Zillich pit for tires. So that's gonna leave Jacob Abel as your leader. Late in this event, we have a lot that we need to look at. Armstrong, we saw the spin start, and then it kept going way too fast into the uphill section. Right on board. Just, oh, again, another one hitting the curb, getting crossed up, and that's going to rip the wheel off. Tough break for Armstrong. It's going to give Abel the lead, but let's go back and see what happened to the 03 of Dorian Pin. I'm very curious on what happened there. So, Hubbard trying to go around Martz. Martz hits the curb, spins around right in front of the 03, nowhere to go. And then he just drives into her. He drives into her not once, but twice. Yeah, that is pretty disgraceful driving right there. No other way to say it. That is going to give Jacob Abel the lead. And Guy Gagne went off, which gives Louis Foster the lead of the cars that have pitted already, with 6 laps to go. Abel has not pit. Can he actually make it to the end? So Zillich did pit, and he dropped all the way down to 15th. So he may not finish in the top 10 at this rate. Up at the front, Louis Foster could be in for a good day if he can make it to the end. Deletta looking at a good day. Barnhart looking at another good day. Jacob Abel, we don't know if he's going to be able to make it to the end. Just has to make it 6 more laps, really less than 6, a little over 5. Just gonna have to see if he pits. 18 cars on the lead lap. As no, Abel is not able to make it to the end, and he's going to have to pit, which gives Louis Foster the race lead. With just 5 to go. So 1 lap to green, we're going to be restarting with 4 to go. Dorian Pin may be in for a long stop, considering that she got literally ran over. But Foster in a good place right now. Based on how long Abel was able to go, he should be able to make it to the end. But anything can happen. If he can't make it, he's got Alessio Deletta and Gail Barnhart right behind him. Dorian Pin, a 30-second pit stop. Not surprising. 18 cars on the lead lap. I believe we've tied our Portland number of yellows, so 2 chaotic races back to back. They've been flipped on their heads so many times. .47 maybe trying to... No, she's not. Okay. No one trying to get their lap back here. I will clear black flags on the restart just to be safe. Dorian Pin catching up to the back of the field. A crash here could end the race or give us a late sprint. Alessio Deletta looks antsy, ready to go. Louis Foster on the medium tire going to bring us back to green. 4 laps to go. Final road course of the season has been a chaotic one. Louis Foster just needs to be nice and gentle. Connor Zilic already made up a spot on the restart up to 13th, but it may not matter. Strategy did not play his way today. 6/10 lead over Alessio Deletta. Gail Barnhart didn't get that good of a restart, and he has dropped back. Yuki Tsunoda gonna be under, gonna give him something to deal with. Foster not driving away from that 87. Banshees of Little Miami have done a lot of improvements over the season. So he's gonna try and stick with Louis Foster, looking for race win number 3 of the season. He's got a second lead. All he has to do is make it to the end here cleanly. Hamilton tried to battle Van Gisbergen. I think Hamilton was able to stay in front. 3 to go. Every time he's going to go through that uphill section, I'm going to be holding my breath. No! I jinxed it right there as the 11 will go around. And that is going to take him out of the lead, and that has given the lead to the 87 of Alessio Deletta. Commentator's curse strikes the number 11. Is he able to get going? Yes, he is. That's not going to be a yellow. But 3 laps to go. The 11 spins out from the lead. And that has just devastated the 11's chances of the championship here. 3 laps to go. Now it comes down to Deletta trying to make it to the end. Connor Zilic, the only car that was really able to keep the lead without issue. As the 11, he hit the wall, so he's struggling to get back. Luckily, no challenge from behind, so he will finish 18th, but devastating for the 11. Alessio Deletta, nice and careful. No pressure from Gale Barnhart. 2 to go. As Connor Zilic making a move on Guy Gagne, still trying to get back into the top 10, currently in 11th now, so gets by his teammate there. Alessio Deletta, 3-second lead, coming to the white flag. Alessio Deletta takes the white flag. Gale Barnhart in second, Yuki Tsunoda in third. Whoa, he gets crossed up, but he's going to hang on to it. That's the biggest trouble zone, so he just needs to nurse it home from here. He'll be in a good spot. As the 64 of Ryan Preece goes off again. Unfortunate for him, but Deletta through the hairpin. Anyone making some final moves? Catherine Legg tries to get by. The 00 of Glover Lord can't get by. Connor Zilic, no final top 10 for him. But the 87 of Alessio Deletta from 23rd on the grid makes the strategy work and keeps it clean. Alessio Deletta, first win here at Sonoma. Gale Barnhart finishes second in what may be his final outing, and Yuki Tsunoda will round out the podium in third. And this is big for the leader circle and is going to put him in play, especially going into Auto Club. Got top 10 there, his last outing. So a chaotic race here at Sonoma. As let's take a look at your final results. It's Alessio Deletta wins by 3 seconds over Gale Barnhart. Big win for Alessio Deletta, for him in the leader circle battle. Gale Barnhart, this is what he needs, as this may be his final race of the season. Yuki Tsunoda comes home in third, rebounds from Nashville and Portland. Glover Lord will finish in fourth, strong result from him. Catherine Legg returns to the top 5 in fifth. Miles Rowe, another top 10, will make it 6th. Benjamin Peterson in 7th. Brendan Hubbard in 8th. Chet Jordan in 9th. And then Robbie Lord will round out your top 10 in 10th. Connor Zilic leads the most laps, but unfortunately strategy does not play out his way. He'll finish deep in the field. Guy Gagne will finish right behind him in 12th. Dawa Tenzin, his best result as he'll finish 13th. And Lewis Hamilton, strong run today, but no result to show for it. He'll finish in 14th. Shane Van Gisbergen will be down in 15th. Jacob Abel in 16th. Then Dorian Pin, last car in the lead lap, in 17th. So, yeah, rough day for Louis Foster. Could have gotten his first win since Indy, but will finish in 18th. Lindsey Brewer will be down in 19th. Ethan Martin 20th. Ryan Preece, bad points day, will finish 21st. We're going to have to see what the standings look like after this one. Marcus Armstrong will finish in 22nd. Stingray Robb in 23rd. David Malukas in 24th. He'll lose the Rookie of the Year lead right there. Callum Ilott, another rough result in 25th. And another last place for Mahavir Raghunathan as he finishes in 26th. So that will be it from Sonoma. Two chaotic road course races back to back as we go into Auto Club where anything can happen. And based on these results, I think we're going to have a lot of drivers in contention for the championship going into that final race. Most we've ever had is 3. I think we're going to have more than 3 today. So it's going to be a fun race. Qualifying will be on Friday. I hope to see you guys there.